This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and goedenavond to all our viewers and listeners. I am Sister Lindsay from the local congregation of Amsterdam here in the district of Central Europe. It is currently 8:01 p.m. Central European time, and that is 2:01 a.m. in the Philippines. So we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude and a very, very warm welcome to all our viewers and listeners who have joined and tuned with us this evening or morning, wherever you are in this part of the world that has and is still watching IC Radio Central Europe Satellite Studio. Welcome to our show this evening. Over here in Amsterdam, the weather is nice. We're getting 20-degree weather. The leaves are starting to grow on the trees again. Flowers are blooming in the garden, and the trees are starting to flower as well as here in the Netherlands. The tulips are definitely starting to have their flowers. So soon the tulip fields will be filled with colors as spring is nearly here or is here in the Netherlands, here in Central Europe. So please, to our viewers and our listeners, please feel free to use the YouTube live chat. Tell us where you're from, tell us how your week has been, and tell us what your experience is like as spring is here especially here in Central Europe. So we would love to read all of your greetings and your comments on our YouTube live chat later on in our show. And of course, you can join us on our icebreaker game as well as join our conversation later. As we're talking about spring is here, we're going to be talking about gardening in our homes later in our conversation. And so, without further ado, I would like to introduce our viewers and listeners, our guests this evening. Sisters, please kindly introduce yourself, tell us your name and where you're from. Sister Jonna first.
Hello, I'm Jana Rubik from the area of Kaiserslautern, Germany. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Sister Jonna, and it's nice to have you here on our show this evening. And we have another sister who will be joining us. We have Sister Iris.
Hello, everyone. I'm from the city of Hamburg, Germany.
Right, so we have two sisters that are from the other side of where I am at the moment. But no matter, we're still within the district of Central Europe, and they're still living in Europe where we have spring. So to get to know our sisters a bit better, we will play a little bit of an icebreaker game. Our Kuya Tech to show us the game this evening. So can we please have our first, what are we doing? What are we doing with our first guessing game? So, what am I gardening edition? So we'll just have to guess what it is. So, what is our first one, Koyatek? Our first one is, oh, Koyatek has even kindly given us an instruction on how to play. So how to play is different riddles will be read aloud. Then everyone has to guess what the object is. So it sounds easy enough, right, sisters? Our viewers, listeners, you can also play along. The first riddle, Koyatek. So the first one, maybe we'll get Sister Jonna to read it, and then she can give us her first guess, and then we'll try to guess.
Okay, first riddle. I'm often red, but I can also be green. Sometimes I'm a fruit, but to you, I'm a vegetable. What am I? I'm guessing a tomato.
Guessing a tomato. Sister Aris, what is your guess?
I'm guessing a strawberry.
A strawberry. Those are two good ones as well. Kuya Tech, who is correct? What is red and sometimes green and is a vegetable, but it's a fruit. I'm also confused, but for me, it's a tomato. So yeah, Sister Jonna was correct with a tomato. Our next riddle, Quietek, and we'll get Sister Iris to read this one.
I grow underground, but I'm not warm. I'm not warm, sorry. Peel my skin and I can make you squirm. What am I? Um, Probably apple.
An apple. Huh? I'm I'm gonna say a potato, but that's the only thing I can think that is also underground. Sister Jonna, maybe you have another guess. I also thought they were gonna be easy since we do gardening, but the riddles are getting a little bit hard. But well, what's the answer, Koyatek? That is underground, and you peel it, and makes you squirm. What is it? Oh, an onion. Oh, that is true, sisters. That is right. But that riddle is a little bit hard. What's the next riddle, Koyatek? All right, I'll read this one, Paul. I'm small and I'm white and grow in the grass. I bloom in the spring. I'm a sight to surpass. What am I? Oh, this is a little bit hard. But since we're talking about spring, I'm thinking a snowdrop, sisters, like those little white flowers that come out in the spring. So I'm thinking snowdrop, but do you have any other guess, Sister Jonah, Sister Iris?
A
Do you
snow.
have any other
Can you
guess?
can you describe what a snowdrop is? It might be the same as what I call it, but I've never heard of a snowdrop.
I would call it a snowdrop, Paul. So the leaves are like grass, but like a little bit thicker. And they are like blades of grass, and then the flower come up, and then the actual flower are white, and they're like little bell shape, kind of.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but they're usually the first ones that come out of the ground and to show that spring is here. So that's what I thought. Is that the correct answer, Cleotech? Is it a snowdrop? Maybe I'm wrong also, but what is it? Maybe our viewers and listeners know. Put your answer in 3, 2, 1. Cleotech, what's the answer? It's a daisy. Oh, that is actually true. If we think about it, we just from in when I where I lived in New Zealand, we have a lot of green grass, and sometimes you just overlook them. That is true. Yeah, daisy. They were hard. But do we have any more riddles, Kuyatek? No, that was just. Oh, we do have more. Okay. So in summer's warm light, I reach for the sky. My head follows the sun as it passes by. What am I? Sister Iris, you look like you know the answer already. Yes?
It's 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 still a pretty hard questions, but I will try my best to answer. So follows the sun as it passes by. Sunflower.
That seems like a good answer as well. Sister Jonna, do you agree or do you disagree? Do you have
I
another answer?
I agree. I
I
think it's
also agree. So we all agree that it's sunflower. Great tech, what is the answer? Are we correct to say it's a sunflower? It is a sunflower. So I guess the answer was in the riddle. But those were hard riddles. Do we have any more clear tech or was that all of them? I think that was all of them, yes. Okay. But there were very, very good riddles that even well, we had a little bit of a hard time, but they're very connected to what we are going to be talking about this evening, which is all about the joy of gardening and bringing life into your home this spring. As spring is just around the corner here in Europe. As I mentioned before, flowers are blooming, leaves are on the trees again, and then we get longer days, warmer days here in Europe. So, since we are talking about gardening, the first question I have for Sister Iris and Sister Chona is, do you sisters like to garden, or do you have a garden at home? Sister Chona.
Yes, I have a garden and I'm starting my garden here in Germany. We just came from Okinawa, Japan, where I had um, greenery, all kinds of different plants inside the home and outside the home. So I'm going to start here as well. And I'm excited because spring has started. So all the stores are having their plants out, and already looking at what kind of plants I want for our home.
It's great. So you will definitely help us in our discussion later. How about you, Sister Iris? Do you also do gardening, or do you have plants in your home?
We have some plants at home, and also actually had easy to take care of, and we have money plants and heart plants. It's all different kind of plants, like orchids also, because my mom loves orchids and she has collections of orchids. And they will also survive even if I forget to water it at once in a while. And it's a perfect starter plant for me also, as beginner, also for anyone has busy schedules or just getting into gardening. And if I want something looks good and something useful, the kitchen herbs, and that is a good idea. Those plants doesn't need much space at all at home, and we put them in a windowsill in our kitchen. And plants like basil and mint and also rosemary, and it gives that satisfaction while we picking it the fresh herbs and are growing, that you can actually use in the kitchen, and it tastes better too.
That's great to hear, Sister Iris. And it's also good to hear already that you have given us some tips already on what my second question actually would be, is to what are some easy to care for plants that beginners can start with this spring? So you've mentioned having the kitchen herbs and also some plants. How about you, Sister Jonna? Is there any plants that you have planted or you have now that are easy to care for?
Some easy to care plants that I have started with were the plants that have more thick leaves, like the snake plant. They grow tall, and they help with cleaning the air, or filtering the air inside the home. I also, what is it? Easy to care plants for just the ones that grow long. Sometimes the plants with dark leaves usually need watering less. So it's easy to just wait a little while to water them if you're the type of person that doesn't or does forgets to water the plants, especially succulents. Succulents are easy to take care of as well. So that's what I had, and as my easy to care plants, and I will continue to look for those here in Germany.
Oh, those are some very, very good starter plans that we can definitely start looking for, especially now the shops that have their plants outside. And of course, they're easy to care for, as you, Sister Iris and Sister Jonna has mentioned, and something that adds greenery into our homes. And speaking of bringing greenery into our homes, do you have can you share some creative ways to incorporate greenery into small spaces? Because I know here in Europe, people usually intends to live in townhouses or even apartments, which are not a lot of space. Can you share with us any um, creative tips on how to incorporate greenery into our homes? Sister Jonna.
Yes, like for me and my family, we have a town home. So the space is limited, but we do have a balcony where I plan to hang plants over the balcony, like the traditional German homes that I see around our neighborhood, which I personally love. I love looking at the pop of color that I see on the balconies. So I plan to, on the balconies, put geraniums, bright red geraniums over our balcony to give the space more of a pop of color because our house is white. So against the white background, the flowers will pop.
Yes, definitely a burst of color in our homes can have a very, very big impact to make a house turn into a home, and it gives more of a, it shows that it's a bit more welcoming than just have white. That's true, Sister Jonna. How about you, Sister Iris? Do you have any creative ways on how to have plants inside your house, but with limited space?
That's correct. As Sister Yona have been also mentioned that we don't need a big garden to enjoy planting, and if you've got a small balcony, that is also great. And we are using a small pot or even a hang plants up in the basket. And it's still amazing how much we can fit in small spaces. And as we are living in an apartment here in Hamburg with no outdoor space, like most of us here living in Hamburg that doesn't have a garden, and we only live in an apartment, and it's not also a problem is at all. And we put the plants on our window sills, tables, and in the corner space in our houses or apartment. And you can also build wall decorations where you can put all the small plants on it, and then some a little bit decorations, and you will be also surprised how much greenery can add to space with such a few plants.
Yes, definitely true, Sister Iris and Sister Jonna. The most creative way, I think, is to find, to even if we have limited space, is to always find a place for a small plant. We can still bring greenery into our homes, even if it's just what Sister Jonna mentioned a while ago with having just succulents, little plants, and arranging them in what Sister Iris said to have a wall with all of your little plants. I think of course, during the pandemic, a lot of us have started to grow fond of caring for plants. And now that, of course, now that we're back to normal and everyone is back to their busy schedules, it's also important to still have greenery in our houses to so that we can come home and just have a little bit of greenery in our home, especially if you live in the city, that you are not near any national parks or you don't get to be in a forest like others who would be living outside of the city. Um, so speaking of, well, Sister Jonna has mentioned it a while ago already, with adding that pop of color, and then having the herbs, your kitchen herbs in the kitchen. How can gardening improve mental well-being and bring joy into our daily lives, Sister Iris?
For me, there's something really satisfying about seeing plants grow and knowing I help them along the way, and it just feels good, and it can really lift my posture mood. So it's about gardening. It might be sounds for us simple thing, but it can also improve our mental well-being. About planting and also nurturing and watching it grow, and each plant has its own story, and the peace and the sense of accomplishment and the reminder that good things takes time.
Oh, that's a very, very good message on how to have plants in our homes. How about you, Sister Jonna?
Yes, I agree a lot with what Sister Iris said. It improves my well-being. It definitely improves my mood. Just watching the plants grow from, we germinate them from seedlings into something that's grown over time, even years. it does give me a feeling of satisfaction that, yeah, I did that, I grew that. And then I include my children in the process. They learn how to take care of the plant, how to nurture it, and to treat it like their own special baby. And then it's also a teaching moment for our children to teach their friends how to care for the plants that surround them. So yeah, gives us the whole family a good mood.
That's great to hear. And I would imagine if you have a family, that it can also be a good way to spend time with your kids, spend time with the family, like also with Sister John and her kids, and then Sister Iris with her mom. And Sister John also mentioned about talking to your mom as well about plants, and it's a good way to just catch up and also to spend time with them. So yeah, can definitely improve our mental well-being, and of course, it brings joy into our lives. It brings joy into our homes. So those are some very, very good benefits into gardening in our small houses. But with small houses and plants, sometimes we make mistakes. um, I am, I have done it before that I have forgotten to take care of a plant, and the next thing you know, the plant is all dried up and all brown. So maybe our sisters Iris and Sister Jonna can help me. So what are some common mistakes new gardeners make, and how can they be avoided? Sister Iris.
For me, I think one of the most common mistakes are over watering the plants or under watering, especially in early stages. For example, under watering. So you put small amount of water, and when it starts to grow, and it's starve, or over watering. Also, it's often also drown, and then that's why we always have to check the soil and the moisture before watering. So that's my what I know about common mistakes is.
How about you, Sister Jonna? Is there any common mistakes that new gardeners make, and how can they be avoided?
Um, I agree with Sister Iris. The overwatering, I know that I've done that in the beginning, thinking that it would help the plant grow, and then it just died because the roots rotted from overwatering. One other common mistake is placing plants in places where if the plant needed more sun, you put it in the shade. If it was a shade plant, you put it in the sun, and they die that way. So a way to avoid those things is to research on the plant, read about what the sunlight that they need, or less sunlight. And nowadays, stores will actually have the stickers on the pot that will say need sunlight, the picture of a sun, picture of partial sunlight, how much water you need to feed it. So it's kind of easy nowadays where the pots will have the instructions in a little sticker.
Those are definitely very helpful. Would you also recommend just talking to friends or maybe family members to about, ones that have more experience with this kind of, with planting certain type of plants, Sister Jonna?
Oh yes, definitely talk for advice from people with green thumbs. Like my mom, I usually call my mom often about what's wrong with this plant. Why does it have brown leaves? Or my husband who just started gardening, he actually has more tips and tricks whenever I ask him, my plant is dying, I don't know what happened. So those just, getting tips from other people who know about certain plants, and and also friends, and yeah.
Oh, that's very good to also have family who can support you with your gardening and who can help you if you are in need with the plant. It's very nice, Sister Jonah. And thank you for sharing that with us. And of course, with those mistakes, we can only learn from them so that we don't do them to our next plant again. Because I know I have done it before, not watering them, forgetting, and maybe overwatering. My question now is that can you still bring them back to life if you've overwatered them or you don't give them enough water? Sister Iris and Sister Jonah, can you still bring them back to life?
Um, I think there is still hope as long as you have the right soil that you are using, and also to and the right nutrients on this from the soil. And as if we've been always mentioned about what always watering it, and then and Sister Yona also have mentions about the sunlight needs, and that's what my tip is.
Yeah, those are some very good tips. So I'm definitely learning from our conversation this evening, sister, especially when it comes to the little plants that we have in our homes. My last question would be, what are some takeaway or any final tips that you have for our viewers and listeners who might be beginners or who are planning to start planting some plants in their homes this spring? Sister Jonna.
Um, One tip that I would suggest for beginners in planting would be starting off small with just one plant. I started off with one plant, hoping that I wouldn't kill it. So I think it's best to start with one plant, especially if you're a beginner, because you have more time with that one plant. You get to know how much water it needs, how much sunlight, if you need to move it from one place to another. More of like nurturing it would be my best tip for a beginner um, plant person. So that afterwards, when you get the hang of taking care of that first plant, then you could buy more and get more plants, and then yeah, have more plants. And then at the end of, when you look around your home, you have so much plants inside your home, you didn't know how you got them.
Then very soon your white walls will all turn green with all of your plants, right, Sister John? That's true. It always starts with the first step and just the first step of going to the shop and just finding the easiest and small plant to start with. That's right. How about you, Sister Iris? Any final tips or any takeaway from gardening that you can give our viewers and listeners?
I think it depends on the season. For example, in a tropical weather, since we are living in Europe, and it's most likely we have 4 seasons, and we have to choose the plants that can survive in every season. And also each plant has its own, also need some light requirements, and also and this, as I mentioned earlier, also the using the correct soil, and choose the right type for your plants to ensure to get all the nutrients they need. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, sisters. So we do hope our viewers, our listeners were able to take down some of those notes, especially if they are planning to have a garden in their homes this spring. So because spring is the best season to start our plants. It's starting to, the weather is starting to turn warm and as we mentioned, the shops are starting to bring out their plants. And for me, sisters, what have taken away from our conversation this evening is that to to start small, start easy, and also read the labels on the plants. Because sometimes for me, I would have a plant and then it's like, oh, this is a nice plant. But I rip they usually have like little tags on the pot and the pots. I rip that away and it's like, oh, I don't need that. But the back of it has all of the information on the water, the sunlight, and the type of soil. And if it's from seeds, it also has the information on how deep it is. So, but yeah, definitely learning from your loved ones, from friends, family, and also when you go to the shops is to ask the people who are there, who knows the product that they are selling, who knows the plants, and read the labels. They're helpful too. So yeah, thank you so much, sisters, for giving us some of those tips on how to have gardens in our home, bringing joy into our homes this spring. So we will definitely look forward to maybe some of the local congregation in our district will have an activity about gardening soon. And of course, we'd love to have Sister Iris and Sister Jonna back with us who can still teach us more about gardening. Maybe Sister Jonna, we can get your husband to also join us and he can teach us about gardening fruit, oh, not fruit, sorry, vegetables, especially now that spring and summer is coming soon. So thank you once again, Sister Iris and Sister Jonna, for um accepting our invitation to join us on INCRadio Central Europe this evening. So before we go on a quick break, we'll just read some of the greetings and the comments that we have on our YouTube live chat. So we have a comment from Rachel Innocencio who says, "Herbs one can grow, or herbs can grow, which are fresh and used for cooking includes rosemary, cilantro, and chives, and hashtag Heidelberg clusters." So we also have some gardeners in Heidelberg cluster. More greetings from Joy Hadash, Mario Calvelo, Apple Rose, sorry, Lynn Schmidt from hashtag Berlin, hashtag Meissen, from Alisa May Fauni, who would like to greet from also Heidelberg. Um, Another one from Lisa Marie Wolf and from Ted Salvador. More from Sharon Peñeco, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Paul, who is also from Berlin. We have a lot of Berlin on our YouTube live chat this evening. One from Marilyn Seletaria from Frankfurt, and just one more from Kaiserslautern to Joshua R. So thank you so much to all our viewers and listeners who have sent us their greetings. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Hello po! Ako po ang inyong ate Jana at samahan niyo po kami ngayong Lunes sa Like and Share. Tara at samahan niyo kaming puntahan ng Albay, ang home of the majestic Mayon Volcano. Tikman ang masarap at malambot na ginataang bilo-bilo na perfect pang merienda. Tuklasin ang lugar ng Pandan, fishing capital ng Catanduanes. At sa episode na ito, ating mapapanood ang mga vlogs mula sa Bicol Region Satellite Studio. Kaya samahan niyo po kami ngayong Lunes sa Like and Share, April 7, 2025, 2 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. Dito lamang yan sa INC Radio.
Tired of feeling your worst? Ready to take control of your health? Then tune in to Health Matters, the show that covers it all. Mondays, get glowing with Dr. Miriam Isla and the latest in skincare. Tuesdays, Dr. J.M. Cruz tackles your adult health questions. Wednesdays, it's family time with Dr. Owie Perez. Thursdays, Sister Min Pina and Sister Galore Pangan guide you to emotional well-being. And Fridays, discover the power of natural medicine with Dr. Erwin Torres and Sister Cheche Brinosa. Health Matters, Monday through Friday at 10:30 in the morning. Subscribe now and start living your healthiest life.
Welcome back, everyone, and you are still listening to INCRadio Central Europe Satellite Studio. Before we went on the break, Sister Ari, Sister Jonna, and I were having a conversation about gardening this spring and having little plants in our home. And we have learned a lot from both our sisters. So thank you so much once again to our sisters. So now here on IC Radio Central Europe Satellite Studio, we have a segment called German is Fun. And well, let's watch and listen to this week's lesson from Sister Malu Francisco.
German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß. Hallo everyone. Hallo zusammen. Welcome to German is fun. Willkommen zu Deutsch macht Spaß. Ich bin Schwester Malu Francisco, inviting you once again to have fun with us learning German, basic German. Today, you'll learn words and phrases that have to do with colors. Color in German, die Farbe. Die Farbe. Colors, Farben. Farben. German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß. As usual, I'll say the words first in English, then the German equivalents. All you have to do is listen, repeat, and of course, have fun. Here now are the colors. Red, auf Deutsch, rot. Rot. Orange, in German, orange. Orange. Yellow, gelb. Gelb. The word is spelled G-E-L-B. The ending B in a word in German is pronounced as P. So you say gelb. Brown in German, it's brown, spelled B-R-A-U-N. So easy to remember. Just like in English, the same pronunciation. It's brown. Green, grün. Grün. The U is a U umlaut. And you say it long. So, grün. Blue, blau. Blau. What about black and white? Black is schwarz. Schwarz. The spelling? S-C-H-W-A-R-Z. Remember, S-C-H, this combination of consonants is pronounced as sh, just like the initial sound of the English word shower. And what about W in German? You pronounce it as V. Black is schwarz. Schwarz. White, weiß. Weiß. That's the German word for white. German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß. And now, let's practice. First, I'll say the short dialogues in English, then the German equivalents. Let's begin. What is that? That's a ball. The ball is brown. Was ist das? Das ist ein Ball. Der Ball is brown. What is that? That's a car. The car is blue. Was ist das? Das ist ein Auto. Das Auto is blau. What's that? That's a cup. The cup is red. Was ist das? Das ist eine Tasse. Die Tasse ist rot. German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß. This has been today's episode of German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß. I'm Sister Malu Francisco saying, vielen Dank für Zuschauen. Ich wünsche euch alles Gute. I wish you all a pleasant week ahead of us. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss. Stay safe. Bleib gesund. German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß.
Always a pleasure to have Sister Malu Francisco with German is Fun, because we learn a lot of German, basic German words from her. And even if we're a bit older, or even for kids, it's very, very helpful. And here on INCRadio Central Europe, we want to be educational as well, especially to our viewers and listeners who might be new to Germany. Sister Jonna, did you learn anything from Sister Malu? Since you mentioned you just moved to Germany, do you find it hard to speak German?
Yes, it is because of the sounds, the SCH sounds and the different ways of saying certain words. So I'm still learning. My children are learning basic German in school right now, so they're also teaching me.
Yeah, oh, that's very nice. And I do hope that you continue to you can also watch Sister Malu Francisco with Deutsch Max Pass, and which are very helpful as well. So yes. So now in our program we have our CEU in action, which is all about the activities we've had here in our district. And our Kuya Tech will have some photos for us. Yes, so the district-wide activity that was held in our district was the CWS art painting activity, or the Children's Worship Service art painting that was held all throughout the district. So we have photos from some of the children from Zurich who has some wonderful paintings of some houses and animals. Also from Rotterdam, we have smiling faces of kids playing with paint from Heidelberg, and I can see a fish. There's a fish and a man and some sort of what do you call the art that has all of the lines and all mixed up colors. We also have some from Dordrecht that is a bit more of the landscape, some mountains and seas. It's also from the local congregation of Bonn. That was also some of their kids, and it was nice to see all of the smiling faces from the kids, to see that they enjoyed the activity. Activities such as this are able to show the kids that they have the CWS teachers, the Children's Worship Service teachers, as well as the other children, and they get to spend time with them. They can make friends, they can enjoy activities that they might like, and also they learn something from the other children from the Children's Worship Service. So that was the CEU in action for this week, which was the Children's Worship Service painting activity that was held throughout the district. Now comes the most awaited, I say awaited part of our show, because a lot of the local congregations in our district are always waiting for this. It has become a little bit of a competition to see who has been tuning in to our INCRadio Central Europe satellites each week. So these are the three most active clusters from last week's episode. So let's watch and listen to this.
Third place, Heidelberg Cluster. Second place, Zurich Cluster. First place, Berlin Cluster.
Congratulations to Berlin Classo. Gefeliciteerd from the Netherlands. So each week, so our viewers and listeners, don't forget to put your hashtag, your local congregation, your the cluster that you belong to here in a district. So maybe next week you can move up of those top three clusters. Um, so yes, once again, congratulations to the Heidelberg, to the Berlin, and to the Zurich cluster, who are our top three this week. We have come to the part of our show where we have to nearly say goodbye to our viewers and our listeners. But before that, we'd like to give the floor and the screen, the show, to our lovely sisters who have joined us as guests in our tonight's episode to say their greetings or maybe their messages. Let's start with Sister Iris. Any final greetings, sister?
I want to greet my family, Tessa Mueller, Kirk J. Mueller, and Christian Mueller, and my extended family, Rowena Gawat and Vanessa Gawat, and also to the brethren in Hamburg, my Hamburg family. Also, shout out to them.
Thank you for that, Sister Iris, and thank you once again for joining us on our tonight's program. How about you, Sister Jonna? Your greetings.
Yes, shout out to, of course, my family, my husband Joshua, and my three boys, Caleb, Nathaniel, and Isaac. I love you so much. And also, shout out to K Town, Kaiserslautern, brethren in Kaiserslautern locale, and our Heidelberg cluster.
Yes, in our YouTube live chat, Sister Jonna, I saw that there was also a lot of brethren from the Heidelberg cluster as well as Hamburg. And I saw that the support that they have given you in our tonight's episode is overwhelming. So thank you to you sisters, your local congregation, and to the entire district who have tuned in our tonight's program. This now we just would like to thank our viewers and our listeners who has tuned in this evening. Thank you. And we do hope that you have taken in some of those very, very good tips that we have learned from our lovely sisters all about gardening in our homes this spring. We'd also like to thank our district CFO co-advisor, Brother Scott Augustine. And another thanks to our Assistant District Minister, Brother Jake Edick, to our District Minister, Brother Joel B. Catalan, to our INC Media Productions Chief, Brother Montrevel Boy, to our INC Radio Station Manager, Brother Wally Talay, and thank you to our CFO Coordinator and CEBSI President, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo. Thank you, Paul, for allowing us to have INC Radio Central Europe. And of course, to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you so much, Paul, for your unwavering love and care to all the brethren all over the world. And to our entire district, once again, the District of Central Europe, thank you for joining us. And I would just like to give my shout out to the local congregation of Amsterdam, who are also tuned in, to our family in New Zealand, the District of New Zealand South, to my parents, Brother Willie Habonitalia and Sister Maritas Habonitalia, also to the local congregation of Invercargill, still in the district of New Zealand South, and of course to my husband, Brother Paul Green, here in Amsterdam. So once again, to our viewers and our listeners, thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for joining us this evening. We will see you again next week, but for now, we say goodbye to all of you, and we'll see you soon. Bye.